Awesome. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Dudacon 2024. This is day 2, session 3. Thank you so much for sticking with us. And if you're just tuning in, great to have you here. This session is all about helping small to medium businesses sell like the big brands by blending their online and offline presence. Omnichannel isn't just for big retailers anymore. Your customers, whether they're online or walking into your store, expect a seamless experience. So we're going to unpack how to make that happen and why it's critical for your SMB clients. I'm so thrilled to be able to announce you to our keynote speaker, Oded Owaknen. He is the Chief Revenue Officer at Duda. Oded's been leading the charge in growth and customer success, driving strategies that really be able to help businesses thrive in an increasingly complex digital environment. He's got a wealth of experience, and today he'll be sharing his insights on how SMBs can elevate the game. So it's so great to have you, Oded. Hey.
Hey, great to be here, Nick. Thank you for the introduction.
No worries. Of course, joining him on the panel, Florian Hübner, the co-founder and president of Uberall, a leader in location marketing, instrumental in helping businesses bridge the gap between their online and offline customer experiences. His background in computer science and passion for innovation have positioned Uberall as a key player in the industry. So it's awesome to have you here. Hey, Florian.
Hey, Nick. Thanks for the intro, and I love your energy level.
Oh, come on. It's Dudacon 2024. It is exciting stuff. And of course, joining you on the panel, we have Shay Howe. He is the Chief Marketing Officer at Active Campaign. Shay leads the charge on marketing, customer activation, and platform strategy, and his product-led growth approach has turned Active Campaign into a global powerhouse. He's here to share how SMBs can be able to harness these strategies to grow their own businesses. So thank you so much for being here, and welcome, Shay.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here and been enjoying the content and day so far. So thank you.
Awesome. And of course, lastly, my name is Nick Ranger. I'm the Senior Technical SEO at Dudacon Marketing. I'm the Chair of SEO Collective Australia, Google Women's Tech Maker Ambassador, and of course, your host for this session. If you're an SMB owner, a digital marketer, or someone who works closely with small businesses, you're in the right place. So I reckon that's a great segue to be able to get started. Oded, Florian, Shay, if you could please share your slides. I'm really, really excited to get into it. So over to you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to put my slides up and then we can start. And like you said, Nick, we're going to talk today about how can agencies offer our clients a robust omnichannel services, but we start a little bit about some context, what is omnichannel and how Duda thinks about this, and then really talk about the integration and the new levels that we can get together with Shay and Florian on Uberall and Active Campaign connectivity with Duda. So let's jump in. I'm very passionate about this particular topic. Been talking about this quite a lot in the past few months. So we're looking at the SMBs. At the end of the day, our agencies, Duda's role is to serve agencies who serve SMBs. But SMBs are changing quickly in terms of what they need from their website. This is continuously evolving area for SMBs. If I go, a little bit back on history lane, right? So 1995, everyone wanted just to have a basic website. Everyone wanted to be found online. And then have a better website than your competitor. Very quickly, it moved into, I need to have a mobile-friendly sites because people started to see the shift in traffic to a mobile device. So SMBs needed to have a mobile presence. And then SEO came into play. So how do I differentiate from my competition? How do I build content that will drive traffic to my site? This became a challenge as enormous amounts of content was starting to show up, on the web. And then 2024, you think about those businesses, it's not enough to have a website or a brochure site or a contact form for lead generation. Both the consumers and the SMBs are expected now to be transacting online, to be able to buy products, buy services, to pay for goods, to pay for services. Everything is being done online. And if you don't provide that capability, you kind of stay behind. And then the last thing is and we're going to talk about this a lot, it's not enough to have a transactional website that allows you to do all those things, but we see that consumer behavior is really changing, and the omnichannel approach, the mix of offline and online services and retail is growing significantly, and SMBs need to catch up and be right there. So why is that? Right, customer expectation, the consumers are changing, they are transforming. They want to be able to transact at the point of sale. They want to be able to do it from their phone, their desktop, on social media, name it. There's so many different ways to be able to transact online. And not only that, we see pretty amazing pieces of data. We're looking here at Capital One shopping research that they did earlier in the year, and we find there that 90% of consumers are actually using multiple devices to complete a task. So if we thought, if you were in a mindset that you go on your mobile phone, you look for a product that you like, you finish the transaction, this is not the case, but dramatically this is not the case. They'll go through multiple devices or multiple places in order to complete that transaction. We see that those are 91% more customers when you compare it to a single channel business. So obviously the number, the quantity, the revenue, everything that SMB is generating is growing dramatically. And we see 251% increase in consumer engagement when they use multiple channel. So very convincing numbers here from Capital One Shopping that tells us how consumer behave and what is it that they expect today from their SMB or from any kind of merchant or service that they are engaging with. So let's understand what is omnichannel example. And I think many of you we all consumers at the end of the day, many of you will feel that, hey, this is what we do on a daily basis. So let's think about this flower shop, this florist, could be downtown here, down the street from us. They want to be able to sell, in this case, flower arrangement course, and do it through an online checkout process. You purchase the course, you get access, it's maybe a membership, and you can now actually learn online from the expert. At the same time, you could go to that same store locally to your town or to your neighborhood and purchase physical goods. Now, two complete different experiences, one merchant, one SMB that needs to consolidate consumer information, payment options, services, products all into one inventory. Sounds very complex, right? We'll get to it in a second. Another example is boutique gyms. So, when you think about this 24/7, there's large gyms everywhere in the world, they already have a system that allows you to book classes, they allow you to sign up for membership, they allow you to come and pay in the gym for a session, to book like a private training area. They have all that. But there's so many small private-owned gyms that want to offer a competitive offering to their customer. Can they do that? It's very complicated. People want to have that capability when they look at their local gym. Those boutique gyms do not want to stay behind. So how do we provide them that option? It's something that we'll talk about, to be able to be found, to be able to transact, to be able to combine offline and online experiences with different services. And that's another example. A very big one that we're all using is restaurant, right? We book online many times, we book a table, then we go to the restaurant physically, we pay for the service we got, we pay for our food. Some restaurants are doing catering, some are doing deliveries, some are doing, events. How do you manage all that through one web experience or through one interface? That's a challenge for a small restaurant, unless you start to pay to third parties, and then your margins are going lower, and it just becomes too complex to manage with different platforms and different solutions. Can we offer a restaurant and a local restaurant a solution that will give them all those options in a pretty low cost, but a very reliable and simple solution to implement? That's another example. So obviously, for an SMB client, the agency's client, there is a huge opportunity, which is increasing their business growth, increasing customer loyalty, increasing satisfaction, increasing eventually revenue and the success of their business. But what's really important here is the opportunity for the agencies, right? Because we know agencies, we can acquire tons of customers, we could be very successful, we can offer the initial offering. Then there's the question, can we grow with the business? Can we supply more and more requirements that the business has throughout their lifetime as the business continues to grow? Can we make them successful as a business? Our role, especially at this era of AI and basic web presence, the role of an agency is not just to be the technical implementer of a solution or a web solution for the site. The role of the agency is changing into becoming a strong consultant that helps the agency to be successful through different strategies, SEO, etc. There's it's a long list of things that an agency can offer to a small business today. So big opportunity for the agency to grow with their customers, to increase stickiness, to increase revenue, to offer advanced services, while further cementing the agency into the client business. So the unique role as an agency we discussed is more than just laying the infrastructure. It's a lot about embedding the agency in the overall business success. And how can we do that? So we saw the data earlier. Let's talk a little bit about this. We can provide as agencies the flexibility to sell anything online: media, services, appointments, products. There's no real limit to what we can sell. We can allow SMB to sell. We can also have the local or the offline and online experiences integrated. So a customer can see one invoice or one shopping cart or purchase history through an app and POS integrations that we can have on a Duda site. Of course, we looked at the multi-channels that folks are coming in through. So things like fully responsive design and so on, really important. They can start from a mobile, move to the desktop, move to somewhere else in order to complete the transaction. And we need to be able to scale that. Because this used to be a very heavy lifting effort in the past. And I think this is what we're coming in with today. We could do it at scale with pretty simple tools, or I would say sophisticated, simple to use tools, being assisted by a lot of automation and AI in order to create that experience for small businesses. So that's pretty exciting stuff that we bring to the table now. So with that said, we kind of established, I think, the foundations of what it means to sell, what SMBs are looking for today as they are changing and growing and moving more towards the future. I want to talk about one common myth, because we mentioned the complexities and we mentioned the significance of creating a solution like that omnichannel is only for the big brands. I don't think that's the case anymore. So let's see why we thought this is only for the big brands, right? Too complex to understand and operate. There's lots of moving parts, lots of integration, lots of pieces that are required in order to mix all of those. Think about like Target as an example that offer so many experiences through their online presence. You can buy on the site, could be shipped to you, you can pick it up, you can go in the store, you can. So the myth is that I have to be a Target or an Amazon or Best Buy in order to be able to provide all those experiences through my website. We'll see that this is not the case. Omnichannel requires, as a result, a lot of extra work, staff, and infrastructure. Could be the case. There are much better ways to do that, and especially if you're a small business, we'll talk about this. And same thing with deep pockets, right? Building an operation like that could be extremely expensive, but I think with technology, with integrations, with what we're talking about today, between Duda transactional sites to other compelling elements like marketing automation and the ability to be found and optimized on your customers based on their behavior, those are the things we'll talk about in the next 45 minutes, and we'll see that this is really an offering an agency can propose to their customers. So from technology to success, enabling SMBs to thrive in an omni-channel world, what does it mean? And this is where I want to shift a little bit the conversation to Florian and to Shay to first introduce Overall and ActiveCampaign, and then we'll see how all those things are integrating together as an offer that as an agency we can take to our small businesses and get them to thrive and be successful in this new online, offline transactional world. So Florian, why won't you take it from here?
Yes. Thank you. Let's take a moment to talk about Overall and the value we bring to businesses in with regard to the omnichannel topic. So first of all, at Overall, we are all about putting every single business on the map, and that is literally and figuratively. And with that, we empower them to connect with their customers by ensuring that their online visibility is optimized and their reputation is well managed, and they can really stay on top of all the channels that customers are using to try to connect with them. And of course, our platform makes that incredibly simple for businesses. And with that, they can manage this omni-channel presence, whether it's across search engines, social media platforms, online directories. And really, this allows them to stay in front of the customer wherever they are. And I would say what sets us apart is our ability to boost engagement. This is becoming more and more important. And you've also been speaking about, how all of this should really lead to transactions in the end. And we do this by enhancing pretty much every customer interaction to drive more foot traffic and revenue, and ultimately helping businesses build stronger relationships with their local customers. And of course, with more and more AI-powered automation and real-time insights, businesses have a much easier time to get this done, can make smarter data-driven decisions. And in the end, all of this allows them to stay competitive in today's really fast-moving world. And I also want to add, still, oftentimes this is a huge opportunity for all the people running and working in agencies watching this session to help them getting things done and initiating, how to have a strategy to engage with local consumers, to get them from a Google search to a website to booking a table, booking an appointment, reserving a product. And I think it's a tremendous opportunity to get this from 0 to 1. But I don't want to talk about this for too long. I think with this, I can probably hand it over to Shay.
Thank you, Florian. I appreciate it. If you're not familiar, I can share a bit about ActiveCampaign, and that is which we would be the world's leading intelligent marketing automation platform with the goal and idea of inspiring marketers to achieve more than they ever thought possible. I can break that kind of into two. We talk about marketing automation. A lot of folks think email marketing, they think lead generation forms, maybe some simple odds and ends there. We think about it much, much deeper than that, and that I want you to be able to use all the different tools you use to run your business, recognizing and realizing those will be different for every single business, as they should be, and that we want those to come together through integrations, that the data in those come together in a unified manner so that you can pull insights from it, take action on it, put it back into use across several different channels, which we'll dig into here a little bit throughout the conversation. And really thinking that idea of how do we do that intelligently and at a level of scale. And we go deeper into that, inspiring marketers, in that we have a platform that works around this idea that it will suggest, adapt, and validate what you're doing. So you could be a marketer that is brand new to marketing, honestly, figuring it out. Maybe you have a small business and you are the person wearing all the hats. We will help and guide you on what type of automations could you be running. After you have one running, how do you run the second one based off what we're learning in the product or platform? Or you could be the marketing team of an enterprise growing, and looking for ways to basically accelerate different odds or ends of your funnel, how to drive greater personalization, and really dig through the weeds of what's possible. The platform has a significant capabilities around artificial intelligence or AI, in that of truly how are we digging into those details and layering all the data and channels on top of that. So I always like to tell folks there's almost no thing you can't do with ActiveCampaign. Sincerely, like it truly can solve all the different type of customer experiences you want. It's just a matter of trying to dream those and put those together and then run those at scale. So we'll dig a little bit further into that as we get into more of the omni-channel conversation.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Shay. So let's see it in action. We picked up like one flow, but obviously many flows can be implemented. There's no limit, and I think the interesting thing about the flow that we're going to see is that those integration points that we have between the Duda transactional website platform and the ease of building those sites and serving those customers through the integrations we have with both ActiveCampaign and Uberall, and that can create a full experience for user that we can change the way you see fit for the SMB, or the way the SMB wants his customers flow to look like. So I'm just going to go to this example, kind of describing a flow, and maybe sharing flow, and you can jump in based on where Uberall or ActiveCampaign fits in. So we start with the user that clicks on a PPC ad. Could be on Facebook, Google, doesn't matter where. We were able to attract the user to the website. He goes to the website and he starts to browse for products and services. Very simple so far. But this is when it starts to get interesting. Shay, maybe you want to talk about the ActiveCampaign piece over here.
Yep, yeah, for sure. So say you're on a Duda site, you can embed an ActiveCampaign form, of which, as you capture that customer's or kind of contacts information, you can sync it directly into what would be your contact database. And from there, it kind of opens up a world of possibilities of what you might begin to do with that data, as I think you'll see here as we kind of walk through more of this customer journey.
Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah. So the first step of that could very well be sending out an automated email. And that automated email can be personalized. We like to think about this in a sense of it's not sending the same email to every single person, but it's truly starting to understand whom that person is, what their interests are, and what type of content or what type of offering might be best for them. So in this scenario, you might have actual fields in that form that are asking them details about location, company size, vertical, et cetera, that could then fundamentally change how you email them thereafter. But it could even be further than that. It could be based off of a website tracking that we have, where you're seeing which pages of the website they're visiting. Are they browsing certain blog categories, or are they browsing certain categories of an e-commerce store? So you can begin to predict and start to understand, hey, they're looking at this category, so we'll want to send an email largely around that. Or hey, they visited the pricing page 3 times in the last day, so maybe we want to actually send them something slightly different there. So it's truly around how do you get into a personalized manner inside an automated email.
Good. So now we did all that. Personalized emails were sent. We were able to bring the customer back, probably from a different device, as we saw. And now they start to add products to their carts, right? And they even complete a purchase to do the native e-commerce platform. Again, that purchase could be anything. In this case, we talk about product, and continues on, right? So the purchase here was completed, but there's a lot of other things that we can do now, or the SMB can do. And here we jump again into ActiveCampaign's capabilities to allow that.
Yeah, I think when someone makes a purchase, it's not the end of that customer journey kind of whatsoever, right? So given you're shipping that product to someone, it's giving them notifications around that, all the way down to integrating into local delivery services. So truly understanding, is that package, not only is it shipped, but when to expect it, but is it out for delivery? When will it get delivered? It was just delivered. This can go further on into, it's been several months. Would you like to leave a review? Or, hey, maybe your batteries have died, so we want to actually add something there as well. So you can continue to go deeper and deeper in terms of personalized recommendations as follow-up purchases, or just more context, almost transactionally around what to expect next.
And then Florian.
Yeah, let me take this one. Obviously, you've all been in situations where you had the choice to get something sent by mail or maybe to pick it up. And this is where our impatience comes into play. And oftentimes it's about convenience and really having a product right away. Maybe you need it for something that you want to do in the evening. And so there's a question, is there a store close to me? And what really helps is to, of course, have all the information correctly displayed on the website, but also oftentimes to get some confirmation. You open up Apple Maps, you open up Google Maps, you want to understand where the next store is, what's the best option for you to get there, for example, with public transport, what's the opening hours, and really, get the feeling that you're making a good decision when you choose a particular one. Oftentimes, this is also an opportunity for businesses because there's the question, what else could I buy there? And sometimes that may be the store next door, but oftentimes it's also the moment when you get somebody to walk through the door of your flower shop, of your sporting goods store, whatever it may be, and they really don't only pick up the item that they reserved online, but also something else. So really, it's a huge opportunity.
All right. So this is where the offline online comes into play, right? Customer could choose an in-store pickup, visit the SMB physical location, which is obviously an opportunity here for the SMB once you have face-to-face interaction, is to do another upsell or to kind of create that loyalty that we need. We'll talk about it a little bit more in a second, but they come here to collect their online purchase from that merchant.
Yeah, and then during the visit, sometimes also after the visit, it's really a huge opportunity to build, just as that said, a personal relationship with the client. And there are two things that are really important about this step. One is that if I get you to leave me a review, I have a little bit of an idea who you are. Actually, I get feedback that I can use to improve the experience that you are having, and this will give you a good feeling, that I take you seriously as a customer. But also very, very important not to underestimate, this has a huge impact on the next potential customer, because online reviews are really a big factor into how businesses rank in local search, and really just getting this ticked up a little bit by 0.1, 0.2 might mean that you get 30% more traffic to your online profiles, and ultimately this also converts to footfall into a store. So it's really a step that we recommend to everybody for these two reasons: building the relationship with the customer that's there, and signaling to the next customer that you are a great business.
Yeah, I think I can't say enough about the review side. Florian, like we even Active Campaign, the way we think about reviews and how we drive those, it follows a very similar journey to this one for our customers, which is exciting. But in this example, say we're on the e-commerce side, someone makes that purchase, and if we know that the average customer tends to make a purchase every X amount of days, or generally spends X amount of dollars, you can basically design a loyalty program to incentivize folks to come back. So say it's been 3 months, to say, if the average person makes a purchase every 3 months and this person has not, we can have a step in here that reaches back out to them. And this could happen through email, SMS, a site message, etc., to try and encourage them to make that purchase, and perhaps incentivizes them for that action then.
Yeah, and then lastly, and this is very similar, we try to enable local businesses to get this feedback back onto the online profiles. And oftentimes that's Google, Apple, Bing, Yelp, TripAdvisor, whatever is really important and where these businesses are very, very active. And again, then you can also even start a dialogue there. We've seen really, really great success with, for example, replying to reviews then afterwards, and, for example, inviting customers to come back for a special offer, sometimes inviting them to download an app, and so on and so on, and really start with ongoing engagement. So I think this is really a very, very good flow that you picked, Odad.
Thank you. And then we finish here the flow with ActiveCampaign again.
Yeah, I think one of our honestly more popular integrations is that of which is tied to ad platforms. So the ability to create custom audiences, be it in Meta, which would scan Facebook and Instagram, into LinkedIn or Google ad audiences, where essentially if this person has made several purchases, maybe you want to remove them from some of your general campaigns so that you're not paying to actually target that person. Or maybe you found, hey, they're buying products within a very specific category. So I want to switch up the ads I show them to only be within this lens or line side of what I know is personalized to them versus more broader aggregate ads across your entire e-commerce store. You can do that type of campaign. So you can add and remove folks from different custom audiences that you see fit there across the different advertising platforms.
Yeah. So really the interesting story here, I think, is one, you need the infrastructure, you need the website to support that offline online experiences and the ability to sell different type of products. But that's not enough. Even if you have that, now you really need to think about repeating customers. You need to think about reviews. You need to think how you fuel that SMB growth, and those integrations allow a very precise, I think, laser focused, almost kind of work with that customer, with that end consumer that will help that SMB to grow and to be more successful. So again, this is just one flow. There could be lots of flow. That those integrations now between Duda as the infrastructure provider for the website, together with Uberall and ActiveCampaign, allow to integrate that experience in order to really help those small businesses to be more successful and to grow and retain their customer base. So pretty exciting stuff. The bottom line is that agencies could actually go and offer that to customers. It's you all know Duda pretty well. You know, other integrations are working. It's something that we can start offering customers like tomorrow. So now we have a little bit few more myths here and questions that we received and we want to answer. And I'll stop the presentation and we can take those questions.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. That was phenomenal. I think everyone that is watching this is just really starting to appreciate like how it's evolved. I mean, we've really reduced the cost, but it's really without sacrificing the complexity or the competency of what small medium businesses can be able to expect from software suites to be able to really enhance their business offering for customers. I think it'd be really good to maybe just go back and explore some of the most common omnichannel myths. Like Oded, you were talking about like the only omnichannel is really only there for retail players. Do you want to talk a little bit more about what that means? And
yeah, sure. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So yeah, omnichannel, I think when you think about this, so first it's the experience, right? It's how are you able to find anything online and to be able to transact? And it could be, when we talk about retail, it's just one thing, but we saw a few examples of how transactional sites allow us to get service-based clients to sell almost anything online. And I'll give you like a personal example of something that happens to me every month almost. So, I live in Colorado, and I have a landscape guy who comes to my house every week to mow the lawn. That's pretty typical. At the end of the month, that guy is sending me an invoice through a text message. Why? Because this is how he operates a business. That landscape guys, they come, it's mostly like word of mouth, or they go in the street, they leave flyers and so on. But then when payment time comes, in 90% of the time, I actually forget to pay them because there was a text message and that text message gone nowhere. Imagine that landscape guy had a subscription service online that I could go through my mobile, go through my desktop, go through every other device or channel, and be able to just subscribe between the month of April to October. pay this amount of fee for the service, that would make my life much easier. That would make their life much easier. They won't have to chase me to pay them every month because I forget. And that's a good example of a transactional side capability that we as an agency can offer to those service providers. So it doesn't have to be just a physical product that you're selling. It could be a combination of services. It could be a combination of even services like booking, that you want to book online and you want to reserve a table in a restaurant. And that could be combined with the offline experience that we all know of going to the local business and go there. So definitely not just retail players can join that growing kind of desire on the SMBs market to be able to transact online. I think there's a use case almost for every type of service or business out there that needs to transact through multiple devices, through multiple access points, and be successful.
That's awesome. I think that's really going in to be able to start to really fill the gap in. And my next myth that I would love to be able to bust is like really just the omnichannel is just about the technology. I mean, Shay, I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think it's easy to assume that, right? And that technology drives a lot of the different channels. And while it plays, I think, that crucial role, more of omnichannel is about the ideal customer experience and how you deliver that. And it's more in this lens of, while you're using all these different channels, how do you do that in a way that you maintain a consistent brand message and that you have a unified journey, customer journey, that is, across all the different touch points? And that could be via technology in a kind of digital landscape, could be a physical store, all the different odds and ends of that. But you might see a lot of it on your website, in your email marketing, through social media, but I don't think that is the complete depth or breadth of it either. So more about delivering that ideal customer experience than anything.
Yeah. And maybe, Shay, just to that point, another myth around that omnichannel means just being present on on every channel. I mean, that doesn't make sense for a lot of folks out there who just don't have that kind of manpower or attention or, what about that myth?
Yeah, I think like a lot of businesses think of like, hey, I gotta be on every channel. I think the reality is like you need to be on the channels where your customers are, where the audiences you want to attract as customers are. That might not mean that they're on every social network or that they use every single channel known to human. We also see this vary by geography too, in a lot of different ways. If you are in South to Central America, WhatsApp is going to be a more popular messaging channel than SMS messaging, for example, right? So I think it's truly not necessarily saying, hey, I have to be on all of them, but it's more about being on the channels your customers want, where they want to seek to kind of engage with you. So yeah, certainly not about being on every single channel or all of them.
100%. And just speaking on the geography, I mean, we're speaking at the moment just really around online channels, but Florian, I'll divert this next myth to you, that omnichannel is just about like online.
Yeah, okay. That's of course one that is very close to my heart. And I've heard it before. I think that it really stems from omnichannel really being something that has developed with internet technologies and is a term that everybody puts in that corner, but in reality, offline experience clearly are just as important. And it's not only about your online presence and how you integrate all the online profiles that you have, but also really how you make it a seamless transition to how people experience the interactions that they have with you in your store. And ultimately, this is also really when they get the product, oftentimes, when they really get the food that they are buying in a restaurant, when they are really, seeing the gym that they are going to, when they are really picking up the flowers from the flower shop. And, we must not forget that even if we get all the technology right, if the product isn't great, and if it really, and that may just be the case, does not match the expectations that we create online, then we are in trouble. So when a customer looks you up online and decides to visit your store, that transition needs to be smooth and needs to feel consistent. And omnichannel means really creating this unified journey where every touch point, online and offline, just work together.
Yeah. And to that point, I mean, from what Oded was saying, like with his example, of the landscaper coming in to mow his lawn every week, to the to the florist selling online courses. I mean, the perception is that every single thing is all the gaps are sort of filled in, but like for him, like what about the myth that the omnichannel requires like a huge lift and like this big massive one-time setup that will take time and be exceptionally complex?
Yeah, that's also one that I've heard before, and I think Shay just pointed at something that is the key ingredient for my answer to this one, which is it really takes experimenting to figure out what works for your business. And so there's little point in trying to get everything right in the beginning and hence pour too much work into this. So in reality, omnichannel is an ongoing process where you need to see how your customers interact with the online channels that they use and the offerings that you have on those. And, that can be Google searches, social media, but also phone calls, or as we just said, walking into your store. And I mean, we've all seen that as time goes on, new platforms emerge, and that can be messaging, that can be booking platforms. They gain importance, and then your business needs to also be present on those. So it's not about doing everything at once. It's rather about growing and adapting your channels as your business evolves and see what works for you. And really, again, ensuring this seamless experience.
And really just echoes what Shay was saying before about really just think about, what your business is well suited for the target audience. I think that's a really good segue maybe to start opening up the floor for some of the audience questions. We've had some really good questions that's come in throughout this talk. I'm going to ask Alex Colon's question, because I think it's sometimes like, much better when it comes, from the source directly. But a lot of what we see is we'll see these, single providers, really just offer, just like an email marketing service or an SMS marketing service. What's your experience from having folks talk to your team, Shay, around, like how to be able to switch from that to maybe something that's a lot more integrated with ActiveCampaign?
Yeah. I could spend a lifetime, I think, on this question. I think if I'm distilling the question a little bit, it's like kind of what are the differentiators in ActiveCampaign, maybe towards MailChimp or others in market, and there's several, but I would say the heart and center of the depth of our automation capabilities are incredible. And what I mean by that is it's not only the different channels accessible within those, like that automation canvas itself, but it's the type of triggers, actions, steps you can take throughout. Our automation canvas to date has, I think, nearly 100 different types of actions inside of it, not including integrations. Integrations themselves can build out their own types of triggers and actions as well. So it truly becomes an infinitely extendable canvas, but which you can really do almost anything with. That might be overburdensome, might sound like, oh my goodness, I have to go do a lot. I would say the key to that is a lot of these integrations end up building that themselves, or ActiveCampaign helps build out some of those capabilities for folks in a way that truly keeps it in an intuitive, leaner nature. I think behind that, like if you get into the email marketing side, Nick, like our deliverability would be best in class. The actual email designer, like canvas you get behind that, has very intuitive yet incredible detailed nuances in the settings and capabilities you can create there. So I know using other platforms at times, I'll get limited by the designs or the creative I want to create. Where ActiveCampaign is going to give you far more control into that. And then I'd say on our reporting side, it truly goes much deeper into how do you report on all the different automations, emails you're sending out, the details and depth of integrations, automations tied to it, to truly help you glean the insights of what do we go do next? What could we do from here? I could keep going, but I'm going to pause there. Excellent question, Alex. Thank you.
Another great question that we've seen from the audience as well, from Mr. F, who I'm going to just autocorrect to Mr. Fantastic, is the expectation to turn these tools over to the client, or that the agency uses these integrated tools and charge for the product and the service? I mean, this is a really, really great question in the way that like client management, project management, like, how much, do you sort of pull back the curtain to be able to allow to see for, that integrated experience, or whether it's something that's best sort of, managed purely by the agency. I might take this question to both of you, to Florian and to Shay, to answer this question.
Yeah, then let me maybe give it a shot first. So I think the answer is both. So what we've seen most often is that these tools give business owners the possibility to really see a lot of what's happening and to be involved in these processes. But then again, to also concentrate on their business and really, what's at the core of what they are best at. And I think, this is where agencies come into play to really run this as a do it with me model. And oftentimes, business owners take great pride in their website, and they take great pride in their online profiles, and sometimes, the social posts that they are doing. But really turning this into a discipline that covers all the aspects that could be valuable for their particular businesses, oftentimes is too much time-wise, capability-wise, but still worthwhile to get done. And we see that there are a lot of things that agencies can then basically co-pilot with them, and that's the creation of content that's really helping with some of the analyses behind the scenes and laying out strategies for the next campaigns, and really how to engage with users. And oftentimes it's also really to be there and guide them to some of the steps that they want to be doing themselves. So I think that really for businesses that get started in this, but also for the ones that are more sophisticated for different reasons, there is the biggest potential for do-it-with-me models. And hence, this is also not only I hand the tools over, but really I hand the tools over and then guide my clients through what's possible with them.
Yeah, Florian, I'm with you. I think it's both, and it's not one size fits all in nature. I think the first thing you'd have to ask yourself about your own agency is, what do you have the skills or bandwidth to handle? Because it could go in a lot of different areas or natures from there. And in that, I think evaluating what of those channels are more broadcast versus conversational. And what I mean by that is, broadcast might be in the lens of running ads for folks. So integrating into the different ad platforms to design creative messaging, positioning, do retargeting, essentially going out one direction, right? And that's probably where an agency can accelerate and do some interesting things. When it becomes more conversational, be it SMS or WhatsApp, like, can your agency actually manage maybe the responses that come in? And in conversational lenses, how well are you equipped to support potentially sales conversations, support conversations, et cetera? And I think plenty of agencies don't want to get into that side of it either. So that's where I'm thinking it's probably kind of up to you in the agency, but I think the interesting thing about a lot of those more conversational channels is that they blend between marketing, sales, service, support, et cetera. So you're probably going to have to play into them to some degree, again, if that's where that end customer's kind of audience is. So I think you'll need to be there in some respect, but whether you completely own that or kind of co-manage it, I think kind of can vary in that respect.
Yeah, I'll jump in as well on this one. So, with over 20,000 agencies under Duda management, we see a lot, right? We see many, Florian, like you and Shay mentioned, some agencies will just they build the product, they build the solution, they'll push it to the SMB to manage, and some other will actually run, maintain as part of a much broader strategy to support that business and to grow the business, bring them to success. I'm going to jump in with a little bit of a personal opinion here, may or may not be popular, but when I think about the role of the agency in the continuously changing world of AI, and AI be able to take a lot of the unique skill set that agency had before, I see the agency role shifting a little bit more than just the technical folks who are building the solution and delivering it forward, to become more of a trusted advisor, to become more of someone who has the expertise and the knowledge to build that holistic envelope that's required for a business success. And that requires everything between SEO to be found, to retain those customers, to bring them back to your online or offline store, to merge those experiences together. And I think it's too much for a small business to handle in most cases. It's just there's a lot of knowledge and the ability to glue between the different components that are required to make a business successful. So I think we'll see in the next few years more and more shift of agencies, not just delivering solutions, but really becoming, I'm going to help that business to go and be successful. I'm going to be there for them, and I'm going to pull the right tools and glue them together. And that experience will be unique for different businesses in order for them to thrive and be successful. And that's also going to be the way to retain those customers, to keep them with us for, as an agency for the longer term.
Yeah, thank you so much. And, as a CRO, I do imagine, with that many businesses, under Duda's belt, I mentioned that's offers an amazing, unique experience in where the industry is headed. You mentioned something around, the learning curve there for businesses. I might direct this question to you, Florian, because, when it comes to location marketing, I mean, I guess, you would have seen firsthand where businesses can really go wrong there. From your perspective, what are some common mistakes that you see, SMBs make when trying to implement omnichannel strategies, and, what do you think about how they can be avoided?
I would really say that the number one tip is, again, start small and scale strategically. Focus on the channels where your customers are most active, whether that's Google, whether that's social media or any review platform. And of course, a website is always a great opportunity to really bind them to your brand and your offering. And then, invest in those and really centralize around those and build from there. Yeah. So the key is to grow and adapt gradually and not all at once. And I think, what might be helpful here is, I'm also sure that every single one of you, and probably also everybody listening to the session right now, knows this one business that just got crazy hyped because they have the best website, or because they have the best Facebook page or the best Instagram channel, and they are just incredibly successful, giving their customers exactly what they want. And I mean, this is what everybody wants, and not everybody can just replicate it like this. But if you are strategic, I think with a little bit of time, you will get close to this, and it has tremendous business impact.
That's fantastic. I want to maybe direct the next question to you, Shay, just because I'm mindful we've only got 6 more minutes, and this has been a fantastic conversation. But in terms of obviously step by step is really, really key, making sure that you're being strategic in the way that you're wanting to incorporate this into your business model and really start to fill in the gaps. but like from your experience, like, how adaptive is, ActiveCampaign to be able to have teams be able to start to integrate with the software, to be able to learn that? Are there resources that really help, like, guide them through this process? Like, what does that sort of look like?
Yeah, great question. There's, if I kind of unpack that maybe piece by piece. The platform itself is ideally and wildly intuitive, where it allows you to build component by component, step by step. Florin, I love your thought, like start small, iterate, like build on top of channels as you kind of go. And that's what you can do inside of ActiveCampaign pretty seamlessly. One by which there's probably some core channels you're already using. How do you get those integrated, set up? And with that, that's kind of where that, be it suggest, adapt, validate side of ActiveCampaign kicks in to help start to guide you and lead you to like what's next. We have also plenty of different resources and guides on how to do that, both with ActiveCampaign, but just more broadly, like in your business, right? How you want to grow and accelerate. I believe the URL is, I should probably check this before I share this, but it's theactivecampaign.com/learn. It is, okay. The ActiveCampaign University is still there. We have, be it a community forum, we have blog posts, we have video, like courses, guides, tutorials, to truly kind of go deep there. But yeah, I think if there's a myth about automation, I think a lot of folks would say it's too complicated or too expensive. And I don't necessarily think either one are true, quite honestly. And that it can be easy to use and intuitive for anyone to go set up, small business or not. And then the cost of it actually is, minor, I think, in the grand scheme of other channels you might be advertising or growing on, where you can also build more efficiency into those at a great price. So.
Yeah, awesome. We've got 4 minutes, so I might just actually, follow on from what you just said there, just around, cost of integration. When considering like, different CMSs, Oded, like where do you sort of, see Duda in comparison to different CMSs from just a cost, to be able to, start building and, start integrating, and then be able to have either Uberall or ActiveCampaign to really be able to create a seamless, integration there?
Yeah, well, I think this could be a very long answer, but I'll try to.
Yeah, sorry. I know I was a little bit ambitious with the question.
I think at the end of the day, look, it's a question of the value that you can provide to a customer on one hand, and the cost that it costs you as an agency to provide that value to the customer. When you think about value, there's a lot of ingredients that are falling into this, from the website performance to the integrations that you can put together or stick together in a very easy manner in order to create that kind of holistic, centralized approach to support that business growth. And this is, I think, where you need to evaluate the cost against the value. And I think when you combine all those things, can I provide a high performance product as an agency to my customer? How difficult it is to build that experience, how difficult it is to glue all those pieces together, and then what can I charge for it? I think there's opportunity here to provide a lot of value for a very low cost and effort, which is the big difference if you think about the myth we talked about maybe 20 minutes ago or more, that type of experience, automation with being found, with high-performing platform on multiple channels, that experience does not belong to the big players anymore. This is something that we can easily bring into the small business for a very, very low cost and very low level of effort. That I think it's unheard of. If you look 2, 3, 4 years ago, even a year ago, can we bring all this together and serve an SMB at that price point? I would think people would laugh at you, but we can do it now. We can do it now. We can achieve that level of support to a small business with the platforms that we're introducing here today, and the glue that stick all of those together.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. We are in the last few moments of Dudacon 2024. Thank you so much, Oded, Florian, and Shay. Before we close this wonderful session, could I just grab a quick moment just to be able to ask, how folks can be able to contact you after this? And there was a ton of great questions, no doubt. So, Oded, where can people be able to find you?
Many places. Look, I think it really depends on the type of questions, right? I think it could go into our website, duda.co. There's Duda University in there. There's the support. There's the sales channel. We're all here to support and answer any question. You can also find me on LinkedIn, of course, and connect with me. I'll be happy to answer any question directly as well. So we have a large team here, all to support from how to get started, all the way to kind of advice on strategies and thoughts, as we saw, with other agencies and their experiences. Obviously, we're never going to name other customers, but we can give a lot of our experience and what's working. So feel free to reach out to us in any of those channels.
Thanks so much. And Florian, where can people be able to contact you overall?
Yeah, I mean, you can all call me at so now my answer is relatively similar to Oded's. I mean, of course, we are open for questions and open for business. You can reach us on our website, and we have a fantastic contact form. But really, also, I like if you ping me directly on LinkedIn. I have a lot of fun, get oftentimes great questions from people, and those often lead to great interactions as well. So never hesitate to also contact me directly. And I think I'm really good at answering every single one of those contact requests, if you also, send me a nice message with that. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, there we go. Challenge accepted. And of course, thank you so much. Shay, what's your best contact point?
Yeah, I think for ActiveCampaign, you can reach us at activecampaign.com. And then, I appreciate the comment. We also do what we call study halls, which are in-person, be it 2-day workshops globally. You can learn more about those at activecampaign.com/study-hall. And we'll be, as Jan mentioned, in Charleston. I think it's the first week of October. But generally, we travel the globe doing those, and would love to just sit down with folks and walk through how to do some of this in person and go much deeper in terms of what those questions are and how to set some of this up hands-on. And then personally, LinkedIn is the best place to do it. So if you just search LinkedIn for Shay Howe, you will find me, and I'm certainly happy to answer any questions or dig in from there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. That was awesome. And that concludes Dudacon 2024 Day 2. Of course, stay tuned. Tomorrow is going to be an amazing session ahead. All the sessions will be available later. And if you're registered at dudacon.duda.co, they will email you with all of those sessions and all of the nice information as well. Thank you so much. If you really, really love this, please hit the like, hit the subscribe button, and of course, reach out to our awesome keynote speaker and panelist today. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks.